And I said, what is an API is? So API is nothing but application programming interface. That is how one application communicate with the another application. So that is done by using API, right? So then yesterday we have seen like how this will work, fast API. So in order to work with the fast API, you have to install fast API. So after installing the fast API, so yesterday we have seen one application. So yesterday I said about one application here. So this is what it is returning, whose data is returning here, student data. So after developing this application, then how can you run this? So how can you run this? How can you run this fast API? Okay. So for this, you can use one tool. So go to the terminal. You can use one tool. And what is the name of the tool is Unicorn. So what is the name of the tool is Unicorn. And it followed by your application name. So in this you created here. What is your program name is API. Okay. So what is the name of your program is API. And in that, what is your application name? APP. But it's saying that this command is not recognized. Okay. So for this you have to install. So pip install. So there is one command line utility called unicorn. So you have to install this first. So you can use this pip install unicorn. So this is a utility to run the server, development server. Okay. So what we are trying to do is now install this. In order to deploy your application and run the server, what you do is install. In order to deploy your application and run the server, deploy this pip install unicorn. So try to install unicorn, right? What link here? Okay, unicorn. Okay. So this is one tool. Okay, what is a unicorn is? So unicorn is a high performance AGI server. It is a web server used for running which application? Fast API application. So what is the name of the server is? UVcorn. Okay. Yes. So while Fast API is a web framework used to define route and what is that? Logic. But UVcorn is a server that actually listens a network request and passes them to the application. So what is the server you are installing here? UVcorn. Okay. This is the name of the server. And this server is an ASGS server. This is which server here? ASGS server. Okay, this is a server here. Okay. So you are trying to install the server. And what is the name of the server is UVCon. But even if you are trying to install Fast API standard edition, with the standard edition also you get one server. Okay. But you can install the server separately, or you can install the server, okay, by using this Unicon. It is a development server. It is a web server. Use it to run a Fast API application. Use it to run the Fast API application. Now, how you run this? After installing this, okay, pip install and Unicon API is a module name. APP is what here? Application name, not recognized, sir. UVCon, sorry, went wrong, Commander. So what is the module name? API. What is your application name? APP. Not recognized, sir.
Once we add this CSRF token, once we add this CSRF token, one unique field is generated. For example, see,
Yeah.
refresh.
So install the server. I've done mistake here. So install the server here. It is a server to run the Fast API application. Okay. This server is used to run which application? Fast API application. So after this, how you run the, how you deploy and run the application by using UVCon. This is your module name and this is your application object name. What is your application object name? APP. Run this. So now you can see your server is started. Here you can see your server is started 127.0.0.1. Okay, now just type this URL.
So if I want to open one,
So if you run this,
first I just
okay, now you can see.
type the google.com.
So here I try to send a request.
Request.
So I'm sending a request to the resource. And what is the name of the resource is display.
Suppose if I want to go
What is the name of the resource? Display. Now you can see it is displayed with data student. It is displayed with data student data, but it is displayed student data in which format? JSON
so is this
format.
in the post request or
It is displayed student data in JSON format. But is it conversion is done by you or it is done by Fast API? Done by Fast API. You are not using any JSON response here because whenever you are talking about API, so always the client communicate with the endpoint and they try to exchange the data in which format? JSON format, right? So here this dictionary is converted. What will happen? This dictionary is converted into what? JSON format. But that conversion is done not done by you. Say that conversion is not done by you. That conversion is automatically done, right? Okay. Yes. And you can also test it by using.
the value of this
You can also test it. You can also test it.
keep on changing
So by using
from request to request.
Swagger UI. You can also test it by using what? Swagger UI. To get this Swagger UI, just put docs. Okay, slash docs. And here you get which one? Swagger UI. Like in Django REST, you can test it by using Postman. There you have tested by using what? Postman. But here even you can test it by using Postman, or you can test it by using what? Swagger UI. But how you get this Swagger UI slash give what here? Docs. Now you are sending a request to which endpoint? Display. If I click on get, now you can see try it. Okay, just click on try. Now display data.
CSRF capability is DM then only Django will
Execute. Now once you execute it, now you can see the data. So what is the data you have? Roll number one, name, and course is what? Python. So you can test it by using one interface. And what is it? Swagger UI. And that you can invoke it by giving this URL. Okay. Or you can directly give in browser because these are browsable APIs. You can give the endpoint directly, or you can test it by using Swagger UI. So you can use this Swagger UI for testing it. Okay, so here you can execute. So you can get all the links here. Okay, once you click on execute, so you can see the request is sent and the response is given here.
how to get
Okay,
the data from the farm, how can I process the
you can
data.
also test it.
First
You can also test it by writing one client program.
goes to
You can test it even by writing which program, client program or client application. So here I'm writing one client application or desktop application. Now this is my desktop application. I want this application should read the data of student.
get request in
But this is which program? Client program. So desktop program. It is a desktop program. And this program is using the resources of what? Web. I want to access. I want to get whose details? Student details. Then my program should communicate with what? Web service or web API endpoint. So for that, you are using one module. And what is the name of the module? Request. So name of the module is what here? Request. This is the name of the module. Request. Okay. Request module should be there here. Okay. Otherwise, you have to install pip. Install which module? Request module. And there is, you have to define the base URL. And what is a base URL is where your server is running. Where your server is running, okay, that
within the
you
farm.
can call it as which one? Base URL.
Request to multiple
So I
resources.
just taken this base URL.
Just now I'm asking the open Google
And what is the endpoint? Endpoint is nothing but a web service.
and send this
Endpoint is nothing but a web service. And API. Endpoint is nothing but web service or API. And what is your API is display. So display, okay, slash.
to send the get request.
Now I want to send a request
Very
to which one? Display, right? So how I'm sending a request by using request a dot, and you are sending a request by using which method? Get method.
and enter. Now
You are sending a request by using which method? Get method.
I'm typing
So request dot get. What is this here?
it is get
Base
request.
URL plus
Request dot
what you are trying to define here? Endpoint.
different action.
Base URL come
This
endpoint,
one is
and it will try to generate the response in which format? JSON format. Now this is a response. Now you are sending a request to which endpoint? Display. Display is called as an endpoint. So this is which application? Standalone application.
request only.
Assume that this is your mobile application, and this mobile application is communicating with which application? Web
Hyperapplication.
application.
Get only.
How this mobile application is communicating with the web application? By using which one? API. Because how this data is exchanged between this both? See, only the thing is
I'm sorry, click
here,
on a form.
what is the difference between API and web application is web application you run from browser
Click the form below.
and it will generate the output in the form of
And
HTML.
click on the
It will generate the output in the form of HTML.
post.
But API generate the output
There is no
in the
post.
format understood by different application. And
And
how it will generate the output in JSON. JSON is a standard used for exchanging the data between two different application, because JSON is a language independent and JSON is what? Application independent. So web application is run from the browser and web API can be run from anywhere. But always it will generate the output in which format? JSON format. Ring on it. So it means you are using one. This is called as one service. Which service? Display data service. This is one service. Which service? Web service. And what this web service is doing, getting whose details? Student details. Now your mobile application wants student details. Then it will call this API.
All requests are get only.
Your suppose your web application wants student details, then you will call what? API. Your desktop application want student details, then you call this API. Ring on it. So
Only
one application is using the services of another application. Now printer. So what you are printing here? Response. You are printing a response, and if you run this, you can see it is generated response. Now 200 means what here? Successful. HTTP response status code 200 is successful. I'm writing response dot JSON.
all requests are
I get the data in which format? JSON
everyone
format.
processing.
It means this is a standalone application is communicating with which application? Web application. Ring on it. But how the data is exchanged? The data is exchanged in which format? JSON format. Ring or not. Okay. So you can run the server. How you can run the server? UVCon is a server and API colon. What is API? Program name. What is API? Is a program name and API is what? Application object name.
I have to take
API
one.
is which name? Application object name. You can also run by using fast API server. But for that, when you install the fast API, you have to install the standard. You have to install the fast API standard version. You have to install the fast API standard version. By installing the fast API standard version, suppose I'll try to say pip install
23 students.
fast API. Okay, in the double quotes you write like this. Fast API, and what is this here? Standard.
How to save? Next step.
Now this is installing which version here?
And how
Standard
to
version.
delete this text box.
Now along with this standard you'll get built-in server. Along with this standard you'll get what? Built-in server. Server you'll get it. Means you don't require to install UV corner server.
Data.
So it comes with which one?
Dot.com.
Fast API only. It comes with what? Fast API. You don't require to install the server separately. You can install this. Which one you install? Standard fast API. Sorry, development server you'll get here. Fast API standard.
How to store means you have to store in the database.
Install fast API with the standard production ready dependencies, including what? UV core.
So how to read
So install this and you can run the server. How you run the server? Fast API. This is which server here? Development server. And just give the name of the program, or you can write like this also.
we have to
Okay, right now all these are servers only. Fast API.
end user
You can write like this fast API,
and we have to
fast API. So I think run server, and what is the name of this is API dot py. Sorry. So fast API dev, and what is the name of the program? API dot py. So this will run the servers here. Fast API development API dot py. Now this is run the server and you can directly open the docs. Now this is directly open which one? Docs here you can say get and try out you can say and click on execute and you can see the output here. And this output you can download. Now here you have an option called download. By downloading you can use this data for data analysis, data science, anywhere you can use it by clicking on which one? Download. But here the data is generated in the form of CL. There are different ways of running this application. There are different ways of running this application, right? So after installing this, you can install UVCon. Second one is you can also
So at the
install.
beginning of this line,
So you can also install which one? Pip. So pip
so
install. With this also you'll get pip install fast API, fast API
variables
standard,
in the reference variable.
fast
One
API
more,
standard.
sending this form to
This will
customer.
install
Once I'm sending this
which
form,
server? Development
and
server.
press current range form.
Means it will install UVCon server
Now or not,
along with this.
there's another way.
Okay.
Whenever creating object, this
There
reference
are two ways are there
can
here.
be hold
And you can run the application by
that
installing it. You can run the application by installing.
empty
Okay.
form object.
How can you run this? So you can run the application. How to run? How to run? How to run server? By installing. By installing which one? Application. So you can give the port number. So there are two ways are there. One is you can directly invoke with server UVCon and it followed by module name. It followed by module name colon application object name. This is which name? Application object name. And second one is you can also execute fast API. You can use a command called fast API. You can use a command called fast API and development and then give the module name. Give the module name. Module is nothing but what here? Program name. So these are two ways. Either you can use this or you can use this. Okay. Anything you can use it. Okay. So once you run the server, how can you test your API? How can you test your API? This is one way of executing it in the terminal. In the terminal, just type this command. Okay. Okay. So fast API development API dot py, or you can also give, so you can also write UVCon, UVCon, and it followed by module name API colon APP. So this is one more way of executing. You can use any one of this. Either you run this, okay, you run this by giving fast API development API.py or UVCon your module name colon what application object name. Okay, right? Yes. Okay, then next one is okay, how to test your application, how to test, how to test the API or endpoints. How to test APIs or what is that endpoints?
ঘটনাটা
First one
কিভাবে
is
পাওয়া করে?
within browser, within browser.
ADM আসে কি করে
So
আমরা
within browser, you type the URL http,
ADM আসে কি
okay,
করে আমরা
http
কিভাবে জানবো?
and 127 dot 0 dot 0 dot 1 colon 8000 slash. What is the name of the endpoint? Display. So the first thing is type URL.
হ্যাঁ,
Type URL within what here? Browser directly. And second one is using or testing this is or use
এর মনীষের কয়টা
what is
টাকা
this
আছে
here
জানো?
Swagger UI.
দেখি 16,000 দিয়ে এরকম
Now
করে।
Swagger UI is used for testing it.
না কিছু না এই
And
16,000
how can you invoke the Swagger
করে
UI?
পাঁচশোটা ডলার
HTTP slash slash
দেখে পাবো।
147.0.0.1 0.0.1 so 8000 slash
ভাই না
what is the name of this is docs. And from here also you can test it, anything you can use. Now this you can call it as Swagger UI. Now here already URLs are there. Select this URL and what execute. So but when you run first time you don't get like that.
Yes, online
So
store.
docs like this, select get and click on what here, try it,
Visit window
and then
settings,
click on what, execute.
swagger.com.
Okay,
মাথা গরম করে দেয়।
so this is testing it by using which UI?
মাস্টার
Swagger
Yes,
UI.
yes.
Or you can also write one application.
Okay, okay.
Third one is
Right
write,
answer, please.
second one is write which application? Client
Okay, okay.
application. Okay, client want to use
Create
that
a
endpoint or
exception to client
write
application.
which application?
Difference
Client
between
application.
always
And
module.
how client is using consuming that service
By
by
using
using one module. What is the name of the module? Request.
Attentive object is pointing to our reference
By
mode.
using one module called which one? Request.
Now,
Okay.
I want
So
to
write a
write
client application means write a Python program.
for example, I'm entering some values.
So write a Python program, right? So this can be Python program, this can be Java program. It can client can be any program. It can be Python program. It can be Java program. It can be .NET program. It can be any program. It is able to communicate with endpoint. So that is API is used for communicating with different applications or different programs. Okay, now the output is
Which method
you are trying to see the output here.
this
And
request
what is the output is response status code is
and
200
difference variable
that indicates request
user
is
provided.
received and response is generated successfully. Okay, right?
This form
Yes.
object contains
Now always the client communicate with
user
always the client communicate with endpoints.
difference between 94 and 95.
Always
95
client communicate with
95 is
endpoints
request data post that
using
user
various
point into this
various HTTP
This
methods.
data means
Always the client communicate with endpoints
global number
using various HTTP methods. The first one is
name
get method,
mask
second one is
second
post
is
method,
key value
third one is put method,
বাহারটা দেখে
fourth one
so
is delete method,
predefined
and
dictionary
fifth one is patch method.
data. This is what
So these are called HTTP request methods. Okay, whenever you are developing any endpoint, you develop an endpoint by using this request
which
methods.
contains
No, you don't require to register.
provided
Okay, you don't require to register
now
to
use
use Swagger
UI
UI. It is UI which you can use it directly. You don't require to register. Okay, so just to type this URL, just to type this URL slash docs. Okay,
key underscore data. What is the key? ఏమే కదా డిక్షనరీలో కీ వాల్యూ బేస్ చేయాలి by using key. What is this form? Reference variable
So
So
always the
always the
client to
client to
communicate
communicate
with
with
endpoint
endpoint
using
using
various
various
using various HTTP methods. It means you try to develop an endpoints for reading data, for creating a resource, for updating resource, for deleting resource, for partial updation is done by using which method? Patch.
how to read the data.
So all these are various request methods. Okay. So HTTP request method, HTTP request method get is used for reading. Okay, reading what? Information from what? Server. And HTTP request method post is used for creating resource, like inserting data. Okay, like inserting data. And HTTP request method put
What is the reason?
is used for is used for
View source.
updating resource, is used for what you are updating resource.
Compulsory.
An HTTP request method delete is used for deleting resource, and HTTP request method
Use
patch.
your own customization.
HTTP request method patch is used for partial part update.
Print numbers are not
So
entitled.
part update or partial
You
update
can do.
is done by using which method? Patch method. It means always the client application communicate with what? Endpoints by using various request methods. So client may get the data or client may insert data, client may update data or delete data or what? Partially update what? Data. Means you write an endpoint by using these various methods. That is called as get method, post method, put method, delete method, and what? Patch method. So let me develop an application. So you have to understand this. For example, assume that this is okay. Assume that this is Amazon. This is which one? Amazon. And here Amazon, in Amazon I'm using a payment gateway. Which one I'm
So
using?
that means
Payment
according
gateway.
to my
Okay, payment
understanding,
gateway means I'm using which one? Google Pay. I want to use which one? Google Pay. So
So
Google
read
people,
that data.
provide one payment service.
Next I want to send
Google
data.
people is provided one payment service.
Necessary.
Service.
What is
What is
service?
service is?
Like that I want to.
This service is called which service?
How to
Web
get
service.
so those
This is called as a web service or this is called as which one? API.
yes.
It is called as a web service or web API.
Key form.
And Google people are develop a web service.
Identity.
Okay, this web service is used by which one? Amazon. And this service is used by which one? Flipkart. This service is used by some XR. What is that? Why?
Dictionary. Then take and pass.
Ring on. So this service is used by different applications,
So
but these applications are written in same language or different language? Different language. But how they are exchanging the data? In
starting
which format? JSON. JavaScript object notation. So that is a standard. That is standard way of exchanging the data between client application and what? Endpoint. For example, you are doing Google payment, right? In payment, you enter your details. What you enter, amount you enter, right? When you enter amount and say pay, okay, payment, if you say, then this request is sent to endpoint.
number five.
This request is sent to what? Endpoint. But how, in which format it is sent?
Yes.
JSON
Once I am
format.
entering the
So that endpoint will receive this amount and it will try to do which operation?
click on
Withdraw
request
operation.
post. Why it is post?
Because you register a specific bank or not? Yes.
CML form.
Okay, right?
Post or not?
Yes.
That's why whenever
So that is
But
what you have to understand here.
sir, in
Now
which line?
you try
Line
to
number.
suppose in Google Pay you find
Balance
balance.
5. And
In
line
Google Pay you find what? Balance. You click on find balance. When you click on find balance, it will send a request to endpoint. Okay, payment service, it will send a request. That request, what it is doing, it is getting what? Balance. That is called which request? Get request.
Two lines difference. This is what.
Withdraw is which request?
Form is pointing to
Withdraw is which request?
but
Withdraw.
whenever it is the post request,
Withdraw is which request? Post request. Means it is creating one transaction.
this empty
It
form
is
is
creating one transaction or not?
yes.
Yes. It is which request? Post request. Ring or not. It means you are trying to do
Valid.
lot of operations in endpoints. An endpoint can get the data, create a resource, modify the data, delete the resource, or it will partially update what
And print
resource.
the data. Sir, line number 9.
For that, you are writing the endpoints by using
What is
various
first?
methods.
URL.
Okay.
Because
So let me tell you one example here.
am I getting any data? No.
See, you can test it by using Swagger UI.
Code is not
You
existing.
can write a client to program and you can test it. Okay.
Okay.
So let me develop
Because of the request is get requested.
let me develop a small application where
To
we
insert
can perform all the operations like creating a resource, updating resource, deleting resource, and reading the
enter
resources.
101.
But if you want to read is nothing but what? Get.
Click on submit.
So this is a request method called
Post
get.
request.
Means you call this URL by using which method? Get method.
Override this empty form.
This is actually a request
What is
method. What is the name of the request method is get.
all fields are
Ring on it. What is the name of the request method is get. For example, okay, for example, I'm developing. So for example, I'm developing a simple without communicating with the database. Without communicating with the database, I'm developing a simple application where I want to perform all these operations like crude operations like inserting, updating, as well as what? Deleting.
How to get the data? From dot. What is the dictionary? In and underscore data. What is the
Okay, now what will I do is I'll try to develop a small, suppose assume that there is a books. Okay, there is one books inventory or books management system, like where you add a book into the library, you get the details of book from the library, you update the details of book, you delete the books from the library. Assume that this is one library API. This is what here library API where you are adding the books, you are removing the books, you are updating the books, you are reading the details of what books. Okay, whenever endpoint require, I mean whenever client required to know the details of books, they just send a request toward endpoint, right? So there is one list. Assume that there is a list called books. Okay, there is a list called books, and this contain assume that some book details in the form of one dictionary. It is having a book details in the form of one dictionary. So what book is having? Assume that book is having some ID. Book is having ID, and book is having some title. Title is nothing but name, right? So book is having title.
Go to the console. Form validation success and print data roll number 1 or 2. Name.
Okay, book is having a title, and book is having which one here? Author. Book is having an author, and here I'm writing an author. Any author name.
First of all, once I submit,
Okay, some author name.
submit,
Okay, so this is the book details.
so many times submit. మీరు అంటారు very database is that back end. నేను ఇంకా submit అవ్వలేదంటే మళ్ళీ submit
So here I try to add a number of books. So this is another book and title.
processing it up, but still it is not empty. You want to submit.
Okay, this is one book and this is an author. Okay, right? This is a name. So I try to create how many books here? Two books. Okay, as in that this is an API used by different applications to get, because you are developing a which library? Books library. You have a book libraries, and this book details are used by different applications. Suppose you have a music library, you have a video library, which contain what? Details of all videos, movies, movie library, which contain the details of all movies. Getting on. So whenever a client want to see particular movie, he'll search. He'll search in the library. He'll get he'll get the details of that movie. And at the same time, now client is also can add a movie. He can update the movie and he can delete the movie. So it means client is doing how many operations on this library? Four operation: reading, updating, deleting, and modding, retrieving. Right. Yes. So retrieving is done by using which method? Get method. So here I'm writing one method called get book. So I'm writing one method called which one? Get book. And this get details of, so get book, and this get the details of how many books here? One book. Okay, this get the details of how many books here? One book. Now here we don't require to think about converting. Converting means like where you use the serializers, where you convert Python type to JSON, JSON to what? Python. So here you don't require to think about that. It is taken care by which one? Fast API. So fast API, it makes it you to develop APIs fast. Compared to which one? DR, Django REST framework. So there you have to write lot of code, but here you don't require to write lot of code. So there is one method. What is the name of the method? Is getBook. The name of the method is getBook, and this is what is the request method I'm using? Get. And this get method is trying to receive the request. So what is the name of the URL is getBook. What is the name of the URL is getBook with the path parameter. I'm using which parameter? Path parameter. Path parameter. What is the parameter is? So what is the name of the parameter is book ID. With the path parameter, what is the name of the parameter is book ID. Now this is called as which parameter? Path parameter, not request parameter. Request parameters get stored in which object? Request object. But path parameters are sent as a part of URL. Now these are also called which parameters? Captured parameters. These are also called which parameters? Captured parameters. And this parameter should received by this method or not? Yes. So what is the name of the parameter? Book underscore what? ID. And here you have a type hints, and this type hint is used to verify. So it is of which type? It is to verify. It is of which type? You need to define. Book ID should be which type here? Integer. So int is what here? Type. Validation. It is used for what? Valid. It is not a type. It is a type int. It is not a type, but it is a type int. It is used by first API for checking what here? Validations. Now what you have to do is, if book ID, if book ID in, if book ID in, you have to search, right? So how can you search it? Yeah, how to search it? Because this is a list or not? Yes. In this list, you have to search for which one? ID. So for that, every time you have to read book, per booking in, what you are reading? Books. And here, book is what now? What is every book is? What is every book is? Dictionary. Every book is a dictionary. If book ID, if book ID double equal to book of which one? ID. Then I said here written. What I written here? Book. I written book. I written book. But this book is dictionary, right? It will convert this dictionary into which format? JSON format. Okay, else I have to display some message by saying that this book is not on. Else I'm saying written. Else written dictionary. So error. This is error. And what is the error is book not found. What is the error is book not found. Right? I said book not found. So here is it's not reloaded. As you want to reload every time, you should use one option called reload. Hyphen reload. If I use reload, whenever you do changes in your application, so the server will be started again. So that you don't require to start the server again and again. So you can write a reload. Reload. What is the name of the option is reloader. Reload. Some option is there. So that is with hyphen reload will do the changes. It means whenever there is a changes in your applications here, will watch for changes in these directories. Okay, see here. What is the message? Will watch for changes in these directories. Which directory? API. Which directory? API 1. API 1. Any changes are there, what will happen? It will restart the server. You don't require to start the server again and again, right? So whenever I say save, it is started again. Okay, right? So what you can do it, you can test it, run this. Now you can send. What is the name of this is? What is the name of this is? Get a book. So get a book by sending what here? ID. What is the ID I send here? One. One is the ID. You can see, is it get the details or not? Yes. If I'm trying to send ID is a 2, then it get the details. ID 2 2 0. Not there. Why? For book in books, book dot book ID double equal to book of ID written book. Else a written book not a found. So get and try here. Just give the book ID 1 and book ID 1. So you can see the details of book 1 and I can give the book ID 2. Why is not there here? Any error? Comma. So how many values are there here? Two, right? We'll try to print here. See at the server side, what is the mistake we did? So execute. It's reading only one. Oh, so mistake is here logic, right? So else should not be written here, right? So book ID equal to book, then return book. So return book, when it should return book, if it is match, right? It should match, then it should return what, book. And when it should return book not found, if the book is not available. So here what I'm doing is I'm taking one variable called found. So found equal to what here? False. Suppose if the book is there, if the book is there, what is the value of found is? What is the value of found is? True. The value of found is a true. Now outside the loop you can write. Otherwise, what you can do is, because return means it terminates or not. Yes. If the book is not there, then it will come out of the loop and return. What it returns?
without submitting the
What it returns? Error. What is the error is?
no student
Book not found. So
logical
logical
mistake.
mistake.
Entering URL, clicking on enter button, get request to
So this is outside the loop.
submitted
Okay.
false. Whenever
Now send a request, execute.
submit,
Now you can see the book 2.
once I click on submit,
Okay, right? Now try to input book 1, execute, and you can see this is a book 1.
submitted will become true.
Now can I write a client program to get the book details? Yes.
First student
I can write a client program to get the book
based
details,
on
right?
keys
So in the same way, I want to create a book.
within the book.
I want to create a book. Then how can I create a book? How can I create a book by using which method? Post method. Post method. What is the request method I'm using? Post. The request method I'm using is what here? Post. Post is for
Now
creating a resource. Get is for reading a resource. Post is for creating a resource, and get is for reading a resource. Okay.
percentage percentage.
So here you are using a post method
If submitted,
and post, and here
slash,
slash. I want to create a resource.
submitted means
I want to create a resource.
true or unknown.
Then I'm saying create.
Submitted equal to true or unknown.
So post method.
If submitted means if the value is in
And whenever you are saying a post,
condition,
the request is sent as a part of what? Body. How the request is sent as a part of request body. Whenever you send a request using a post method, the request is sent as a part of request body.
value true, line number
So what is the name of the URL is create a book.
between display,
What is the name of the URL here?
change
Create book. So there is a create book.
percentage.
And this create book, what it is doing? It is getting which details? Book details. What are the book details? ID, title, and what? Author. ID, title, and author. It will get this book details. Okay, now it is trying to receive. It is trying to receive. What is the name of the view is? Endpoint is create book, and this will receive which type? Or it will receive book. Okay, it will receive the book. But when it receive the book, it should receive the book with certain details or not? Yes, what details? ID, title, author. It should have an ID, title as well as author. Means I need to check some validation. I have to check some validation, and at the same time I should convert. I should convert which data? I should convert which data? JSON data into what? Python. So that is called which one? Serializing.
key embed no.
That is called as which one? Serialize. Validation, serializing. This both you can do it by creating one
So
model.
I
By
submitted
creating one model.
student
But
cross
this is not database model. This model is used to verify or to validate the data and to convert which data, JSON data into which data, Python data. So serializing and deserializing. For that, you are using one library here from fast API import.
submitted value true I gave these two
What is the name of that is
whenever and
Pandatic.
multiple paths కాబట్టి
What is the name of that is Pandatic is the library.
that is
So lot of things you have to remember here. So
name Sunny marks 98 submitted automatically
what is the name of this is
is true student
Pandatic.
Sunny process successfully enter next student information okay what happened
Pandatic.
submit yes Sunny submitted successfully 103 Winnie marks 89 Winnie
Pandatic. Okay, now fast API utilizes what is the name of this
Yes,
is Pydantic as its core engine for data validation, serialization, and what? Documentation. Serialization as well as documentation. So data conversion, it converts the incoming JSON into what? Python objects. How it will convert it? By using one class. And that class inherited from which module? Pydantic. Okay. So you have to import this Pydantic. Okay, from Pydantic, import one model. What is the name of the model? Base model. Pydantic. Error again. What is the name of this is? Pydantic. Pydantic. PYDAN. Import. What is the name of the model is? Base model. Why you are using this to convert? Why you are using this to convert JSON into what? Python objects and at the same time to check the validations. To check the validations. So here I am developing one class and what is the name of the class is book. So book is inherited from which model? Base model. Base model inherit which one? Base model. So why you are developing this model? For conversion, serializing and deserializing and to check the validations.
submitted paths
Now here you try to define your book is having how many fields? Three fields. One is ID. Now you define ID is which type? Integer type. Then second one is what? Title. Title is which type? String type. Okay. And then author. What is the next one is author. Author is which type? String. It means you are converting, I mean you are validating, is it ID is integer or not? Is it author is a string or not? And is it a title is string or not? Right? So book, now it will receive, create a book. So create a book is there. What create a book is doing? It is trying to receive the request from whom? Client application. What information it is receiving? Books information. What information it is receiving? Book information. It is receiving one book and it is of which type? Or it receiving the book of which type? Book type. So what will happen in this case is it will read a request body. It will read what? Request body. Suppose if you are working with Django REST framework, who will read the request body? Programmer only. Okay, programmer read the request body and convert that into what? JSON. Okay, convert that into what? JSON. Read JSON and convert JSON into what? Python object. All this done by whom? Programmer. But here it is done by which method? Post method. And send it to which method here? Create book. Now create a book. What you should do it? You should add this book details into what? List. You should add this book details into what? List. Simply, you should add this book details into list. You should add this book details into what? List. Okay. But for that, you have to read. You have to create one. Yeah, you have to read this book details and add it into the list. So how can you add into the list by using which method? Append method. How you add it by using append method. Suppose you don't want any duplicates, then what you can do it? You can verify this IDs exist or not. Otherwise, directly you can say, what is the name of this is books dot append. What you are trying to append? Book. And after that, I'm trying to return a message. What is the message I'm returning? Book is added. Book created. Book created. So book created. That is a message send here. But it is receiving the details of which one? Book. Now come to the Swagger UI. Now just refresh this. Now here you find how many? Two. So one is a get and one more is what? Post. Select the post. And here now try out. Just click on try out. And here you have to input the details. What are the details you should input? Now three. And the name of this is some oracle. Okay, give some name, some James. After that, just click on what? Execute. Once you click on execute, now you get the response. What is the response is? Book create. Book is what here? Created. If you want, you can read the details by using which method? Get method. So try out. And what is the book ID is? 3. And click on execute. Now you can see internal server error.
feedback project, PY,
Book object. We have not sent book object.
start here.
Cancel this. Once it is done, cancel that because you cannot send multiple requests, right? Execute. Cancel this. Try out. 3. Execute.
Project is ready, app is ready, add application is ready, start PY. Go to feedback, go to settings, add your app name, install apps name, add the app, next. Next what to do?
Clear, cancel, send it. See here. So all these are various methods. Just send it.
ఒక ఫామ్ కావాలి కదా యూ వాంట్ టు డిస్ప్లే ఫామ్ వాట్ ఇస్ రిక్వైర్డ్ పైథాన్ ఫైల్ ఫార్మ్స్ డాట్ పీ ఫైల్ ఇన్సైడ్ క్రియేట్ ఫామ్ క్లాస్ డిస్ప్లే వాట్ ఎవర్ ఫీల్డ్స్ యూ వాంట్ దోస్ థింగ్స్ క్రియేట్ వన్ పైథాన్ ఫైల్ ఫార్మ్స్ డాట్ పీ ఫైల్
Book ID 1. Execute. So here you get the book ID 1 and book ID 2. Execute. You get the book ID 2. Oh, so there is one mistake here. What is the mistake is we added book, right? But book is a book instance, right? Okay, we have to read these details. So what you do is create one dictionary. So create one dictionary which contain ID. Then this is book dot ID. And there is a what is the second one? Huh? Title. Title.
right click on app
Then book dot title.
Python
So next one is what? author
fonts.
and
What we have to do
daughter
from
author.
Jam.
Okay,
What is the
then add
fonts?
which one you add
Fonts.
new book.
API Python class.
So, but new book is which type now? Dictionary. New
New
book
book
is
is
which
which
type?
type?
Dictionary,
What is
right?
what is
So,
the
because this is an instance of which one model.
font is the class?
So, we read that and we put inside what? Dictionary. And we add that dictionary into which list? Books list, right?
Next,
Now,
go
go
to
to
this
this,
fonts dot integer
use a swagger here, docs,
dictionary fonts dot
and first you create a book.
next
So, try out.
feedback
So, it is temporary because you are adding in the list, right?
fonts dot
You are adding in the list, and whatever you add in the list, okay, it's not permanent, right? It is only
this
temporary.
one parameter is there
And then execute, and you can see
fonts
book is what here?
create
Create.
rows and columns
Then get a book.
HTML
So cancel this. Okay, if you want, you can cancel this and try out. And this is a book ID 1. Book ID 1 is there? Yes. Book ID 2. Book ID 2 is there? Yes. Book ID 3. Book ID 3 is there? Yes. Ring on. You can also write a client program.
inject the form
Yes, you can write a Python program.
feedback read that feedback
Now this is my client application where want to create a book. This client program want to create a book. How client program will create a book? You should send a book details in which format? JSON format. And you should send as a part of which one? Request body. You should send as a part of which one? Request body. Because what is the request method is? Post. Post. What is the request method is? Post.
wherever you want to
Okay.
write man
Now I want to create. Yeah, up to this you understood.
because mark
So here we are reading the details, and here we are creating the details. This is for reading, and this is for what here? Create. You can test it by writing different applications. You can test it by writing different applications. So don't think that you have to test it only using a Swagger. You can test it by using Postman. Within the Postman also you can write it. Okay, right? So already we have seen in DRF how to test it by using Postman. But Fast API is having his own. Okay, that is Swagger UI. Okay. So in your resume you can write I know API testing using Postman, API testing using Swagger UI. Okay, API testing is required, right? API testing, how you do it? By using API testing tools. And what is that API testing tool is? Postman, and one more is a Swagger UI. Okay, right? Now this is creating a book, and there is application dot will write all endpoints and will develop client application. Okay, by developing all endpoints will develop one client application. Now this is deleting a book. Delete. So for deleting a book, now what is the URL? Now what is the request method is? Delete. What is the request method is? Delete. Now I'm writing here slash delete a book, and delete a book receive what it receive? Book ID. It received the book ID of which type? Integer. So these type hints are very useful here. These type hints are very much useful because these type hints will provide a type safety. These type hints will provide what here? Type safety. Application dot delete, and there is a function. There is a view function or endpoint,
delete this
and
font
what is the name of the endpoint is
delete
delete book. And delete book receives what here? Book ID. Delete book receive what here? Book ID. Deleting is nothing but deleting the book details from what list. I have to delete from what list. How can I delete from list? How can I delete from list? Delete. What is the keyword used for deleting? Delete. Delete keyword. How many ways can you delete from list? Delete keyword, remove method, slicing, clear, pop. All these are different methods for deleting or not. Yes. So I want to delete a book, and what is the input is received book ID. Then you have to search this book ID into what? List. If the book ID is there, you have to delete it. If the book IDs exist, what do you have to do? Delete. Okay. So what do you do it? Read every time one book. For booking in, for booking what here? Books. For booking books. Right. Every time you are reading a book.
Bye everyone. Let's
Every time you are reading a book, right? Okay. So assume that I take some index here. What is the index is? 0. What is the index is? 0 here. Index is what here? 0. You keep on incrementing index and you find the location. In which location that book is exists. Once you know the location, what do you do it? Delete it. Once you know the location, what do you do? Delete. Getting on it. So you start the index. See, anywhere you can write it. For example, see, you can use, how can you delete it? You can use which loop? While loop. So while true means it is keep on executing it. How many times? How many times? Until book is found. Until book is what? Found. So every time you should read one book. Every time you should read one book. What is the index is? 0. What is index is? 0. Right? So every time you read one book, book equal to books of what? Index. Book equal to books of index. Getting on not? Book equal to books of index. Okay. Suppose if length of book is if length of book if length of books is if the length is what here? 0. What you are saying? Break. Terminate. Because there's no point of searching, right? There's no point of searching. When if the length of books is equal to what? 0. Otherwise read the book. Otherwise read the book and compare it. If what? If book of ID, if book of ID double equal to what is the name of this is book ID. Then what do you do it? Delete. Delete books of what here? Index. Delete books of index and then what do you say? Break. Break it. If it is found to break, okay, if it is found, what do you do it? Break. If it is found, just say break and say yes. If length of books equal to 0 or index double equal to length of books, if index is double equal to length of books, even what you have to do? Break it. Because is it found or not found? Not found. Suppose index is 3, length of books is what? 3. Means is it found or not found? Not found. Right? So where I am saying index equal to index plus, this is logic. Logic for deleting a element from the list. But each element in the list is what? Dictionary. Each element in the list is what here? Dictionary. And inside the dictionary you are finding is it this element is exist or not. If the element is exist, you are deleting it. If the element is not exist, if the element is exist, you are deleting it. If the element is not exist, then it should display some error message or not. Yes. So here you have to display some message. How to display message or not? Yes. You don't record right here break. Okay. So now here in the place of break, I'm not writing a break. But in the place of that, you written one message. What is the message? Tell me here. What is the message? Book what? Deleted. Book deleted. And here you written one message. What is the message? What is the message? Book not found. Book not found. Book not found. Right? Because written will terminate the function or not? Yes. Terminating function is nothing but it terminate what? Loop also. Terminating function is nothing but it terminates what here? Loop. Logic. Deleting elements from the list. So that's the reason today logic building you want today attend your class 11 o'clock 11:15. I'm starting free classes that is how to build your logic problem solving offline and online both. Logic building where we'll talk about how to build the logics, how to solve some problems. Okay. So how to solve the problems related with the list, how to solve the problems related with the strings, how to solve the problems related with dictionaries, all the things we'll see. Okay, right? So that is the reason this is logic. This is logic and you should know how to build a logic. For creating resource, put method also used for creating what? Resource. Creating resource, we have seen already. CRUD operations. Inserting, updating, deleting. Put method we used. Put method we used or not? Flask API, right? Yes. Any application, always a put is used for updating. Put is used for what? Updating. Here we'll see. Okay, right? So index equal to index plus 1. So let me delete a book. Now come to the Swagger again. Okay, refresh this. Now this time you find how many methods get, post, and what is that? Delete. So try out. I want to delete one book. One execute. Now again say book is delete. If I write again one and execute, now again say book not found. Because that book is get what? Delete. Understood. So that is called as which method here? Delete method. So when the client uses delete method, if you want to delete any resource from server, okay, and if you want to update, you are using which method? Put method. At the rate app dot put method. So what is the use of put method is updating. So here I am writing update book. What is the name of the URL? Update book. But put is a method where you send the details as a part of request body. You send the details as a part of request body. So what is the name of the view is view or endpoint is update book. And this receive the book and of which type book type. What is the name of the model is book. Now what you have to do, you have to replace the book means you have to update. You have to update this book means you have to replace this book. You have to replace this book. Okay. Means I want to update. Whose ID is 1. I want to update what author. I'm update what here title. I'm at update title or what is that author, right? So but you are trying to send the complete book details and then you have to replace it. And how the replacing is done by using index. How the replacing is done by using index. Okay. Now how can you find the index of any element? How can you find the index of any element in list? In list, how can you find the index of any element? By using index. How can you find list index of any element using index? How do you use it? Index. That return the index of any element or not? Yes. So we'll see it. Otherwise, this will take some time. And tomorrow, today we have seen how we are not communicated with the database. But tomorrow I'll tell you how fast we communicate with the database and perform these crude operations. And will develop a client application. That's all, right? So that will discuss tomorrow, right? Thank you today.